This edition of the Russell Brand Podcast is brought to you by Audible.com, where you can listen to audiobooks wherever you want, including Russell's. Sign up at audible.com/brand to get your first book free.
Hello, this is Russell Brand. You're listening to the Russell Brand Podcast. I'm here with Matt Morgan. All right, Matthew?
Hello, mate.
G's here as well. He'll summarise this eventually with a poem. Even though he seems to be writing already, Matt, what can he be writing?
I don't know. He's on his phone at the moment.
How can you...
Frankly unprofessional.
If you look around this room, it's a group of listless people, varying in ages, just on their phones. I mean, how can we expect people to go through the rigmarole of filling in a form online when the people that are actually live in the room are distracting themselves by any possible means?
It's our job to win them over.
That's by the end of this podcast.
People in this room will be listening.
But they might be the only ones. It's Russell and Matt at audioboom.com if you want to email us, or you can leave us a message if you want to. You could find out that phone number yourself. Have you been... Well, go on.
I was going to say we're not trusted to do adverts anymore.
Interesting that the advert... Like, if you were listening last week, you'd have heard us advertising SquarePeg. They are a type of place where you can get a website designed if you would want
Squarespace.
That's its actual name. But now we're no longer trusted to do the adverts, Matt, even though you really were driving the item yourself.
I was driving it, but I had a terrible passenger in the car. Trying to grab the wheel. And has steered it off a cliff. So now, the adverts will just appear professionally without Russell in them.
It's weird, isn't it, that me, a lifelong entertainer... Thousands of public money spent on training me at various institutions, drama schools and show-off institutes and drama places. I can't be trusted to participate.
I know, you'd think someone with a product would think, well, that's good association. Get a famous person to... No,
keep him well away.
Fuck that. We can't have him.
He all knows it right.
You called it a sham or a scam or something last time.
Sham or a scam. That is the last reputation that they need over at Squarespace. Ironically, they are a bit square. Yeah. First sign of a bit of fun. They checked right out. The listeners that could get through the various portals and hurdles to listen to this thing of communicating with us thusly. Hello, Russell and Matt. I was born in the USA. That's from Mr. Bruce Springsteen. No, it's from someone calling themselves Cynthia Butt 21. There's double T in that, so it's not like that. But I'm but 21 years old, and yeah, I'm world weary. What a life I've led. I was born in the US. I've been living in the UK, mostly London, for nearly 5 years. I've got loads of questions about everyday life in the UK. I never believe what one person tells me. I put all the responses together and come to my own conclusions. So my first question is this. Why do people from England make so much fun of other people's accents if they don't sound like RP? Why is that? I don't know.
We've got a range of accents in this room here, haven't we?
There's Irish people everywhere you look.
There's Northern Irish, there's Mancunian.
Jeez, from London. Charlie, where are you from?
It's a very posh accent, I think.
It's a lovely posh accent from a 90s. She's from posh. Gareth's from Hull. People.
Gareth doesn't sound like he's from Hull, though. He's beating that out of himself.
He's beating that out. Gareth, who produces this show, has spent his life pummeling his roots and sleeping in cupboards at Horse Ferry Road, Channel 4, so to fit in with his new media lifestyle. Now, one of the items we did last week, Belly Bounce, it's taken the world by storm, Matthew. It was a story that actually you found about a Belfast man who was convicted of assaulting his elderly neighbour by using his belly to bounce her away from his home. The idea of belly bouncing has really captured the public imagination. Terry Ash Davis says that belly bounce is the new pin-pin. The pin-pin was part of the early culture of our radio shows. And people really are interested in belly bouncing. People want to do belly bouncing. They want to hear more about belly bouncing. Yeah, lots of people saying it's the new pin-pin. Other people want to hear you doing that 52-year-old windy man character. Well, that actually was me. It wasn't a.
It was you.
It
wasn't a character. That was you.
It was someone called Matty. Says, "Can you please get Matt to do that 52-year-old windy man that you created on episode 1?" I spat out my tea and screamed, laughing on the tube. Why are you drinking tea on the tube?
Oh no! Yeah,
out of a polystyrene cup.
Starbucks cup.
Not many people do that though. That would usually be a coffee or a soft drink.
I sometimes get tea from them.
Do you?
Yeah.
There you are, queuing up for a tea.
A little cup of tea. It never works. It's not the same. Coffee from that is a joy, but tea is horrible.
Another person says that this person says, "Hello, Matt and Russell. Matt, I thought you'd enjoy having your name first. Following Russell over the years, I've been watching the Trues and I've picked up been listening to his podcast as well. I've come to the conclusion that Russell and Matt are the same person. Whenever you see Russell by himself, he comes across as together, self-assured, almost superhuman. But when it's Russell and Matt emanates a Russell-style humour, but with a commanding sense of composure, while Russell flies off the handle, causing nervous sponsors to withdraw to a pre-recorded sanctum."
Yeah, and who have they asked me to record it? No. Who have they asked to
Oh,
record
they
it?
asked me to record it? You need to learn to break up sentences.
I know, I failed. I don't know why I'm trusted to do the adverts.
It's ridiculous. It says something about...
And who have they asked me to record it? Me. That's who.
So there you go. You've impressed young Stephen Lagaccio who questions whether or not we're actually two
Matt
separate
and Russell
people.
doesn't sound right. Russell and Matt has a sort of flow to it.
That's nice.
That's what you've told me to say.
That's right.
So.
Well done. I've been listening... Albert Musk sizzle. I've been listening to you and relying on you for a sense of happiness for a very long time. It's something that myself and all the other 2,000 plus members of the Matt Morgan Appreciation Society discuss at length. This weekend I'm looking after my girlfriend's little brother and sister, both of whom are under 4. I was wondering if now that Matthew's a parent, if he could offer some advice about what to do with these little people. I suppose, Russell, you could participate in this as well, as long as it doesn't involve palming them off. That's Albert Musk Kissel or Musk Kissel or something. What have you got any parenting tips?
Well,
how would you entertain it? I mean, I remember when you had a nephew and a niece. I mean, do you still have them?
got them.
You're less interested in them. Do you still love them as much now you have a son?
Well, they're 7.
You don't have to divide off a bit of the love.
Oh, no. You've still got enough love.
Is it that love's infinite?
Yes.
So it's not like, well,
they're family, so I'll always love them. But they're 8 now, so they're not as...
Nice.
Well, they are nice, but they change. Kids sort of, you end up being like, you're the only one with any enthusiasm. They're a bit like... You're a bit sad, but...
Tell me again, and for the world, about the time that your nephew Josh pulled his penis long into a string and said, "Somebody kiss this!"
Well, you've pretty much covered it. But when I reckon he was about 3.5, he got so excited. He'd done something good and everyone was pleased with him, and I don't know what he'd done, but whatever, it was good, right? And... he had a moment of pure human sort of feeling, and he pulled his pants down, pulled his willy all long, and went, "Somebody kiss this!"
That's just as an instinct.
Just an instinct. It wasn't. There was
He's had no opportunity to learn that.
It was insane. But to see it, you just sort of thought, I sometimes feel like that.
So do I.
But if I did that on the tube with my cup of tea,
"Somebody kiss this!"
well, that's more of an order. Somebody kiss this.
It's just a bit
throwing
more
it out there.
James Brown.
As you probably would be.
Yeah.
More like, "Somebody kiss this."
"Somebody, I don't care who, kiss this."
Not you.
All right, you do it with that one. Yeah, no, you're right. It's more of an expression of pure exuberance. Like, I want to jump back and kiss myself, like James Brown style.
Yeah, it was a pure moment.
Toddler James Brown moment there.
Yeah, but now to do that at 8 years old, it might seem a little bit, like...
Yeah, now it does sound...
that would be odd.
Precocious thing to say to somebody. "Dear Russell and Matt, thanks for coming back. I haven't laughed out this loud since listening to...
What? This is worse than my floundering.
This is why I'm not allowed to publicise either audiobook companies or website companies. It is a complex email. Thanks for coming back. I haven't laughed out loud, listened to a podcast for years. No, it's not complicated at all. I was lifting weights, listening to the first one, and assume I looked like I was enjoying my session a bit too much. That's War and More. He ends his email simply with, "Belly bounce!"
People say that a lot, don't they? That thing about laughing in incongruous places, or just like, because you're listening to a podcast in your head, but to people around you, you're just some mad laughing person.
I suppose that's what mental illness is, isn't it? They must have an ongoing inner narrative of madness that they're responding to. I have started... Here's a thing I'd like to suggest people start doing. It's inappropriate compliments to people. The other day, a waiter leaned over, gave me my coffee, and I went, "You've got very nice eyelashes." And it wasn't a bad thing to say. It's nice to say that to, isn't it? But I could see that he didn't.
Did you mean it? Well, hang on. Were you struck by...
They were really long. exceptionally long
Really?
eyelashes on a young man. But I suppose now I'm at that time of life where to compliment someone on their eyelashes is perhaps it's predatory.
Well, how did you say it?
I like those eyelashes, young man.
Look at those eyelashes.
Let me pluck one and make a little wish for
Oh,
you.
why did you notice his eyelash? They must have been quite striking, so he's probably heard that before.
He leaned in. He leaned right into my vision. So I was sort of confronted.
Well, they stroked you with his eyelashes, sort of.
It's like a butterfly kiss.
What did he say? Was he embarrassed?
It wasn't a well-received compliment. I know when a compliment's gone over well, you know, when people sort of feel like... I suppose, like, look, I spend most of my life trying to disrupt the norm. Like, sort of like, say I'm in the back of a cab. I don't want their normal chat. I want to get to the heart of the matter, you know, the real person behind the cab driver. If I'm in a hairdresser's, I want to know the person behind the hairdresser. You know, I don't want... Or if I'm talking to a policeman, I want to know the real policeman. I don't want them just giving me their patter.
Yeah.
So if I'm in the back of the cab, first of all...
You disrupt the pattern.
Disrupt the pattern. Like, well, firstly, you enter in on the pattern, because otherwise you can't get anywhere.
Busy today?
Fine, that's good. Oh, the knowledge. Then maybe you'll drop something that sort of opens up intimacy. Oh,
I like your bald patch. You changed gear really well then.
Look at that. What a fine set of knuckles you've got. I just would like to suggest that people start giving compliments to people that throw them off track a little bit.
Yeah, but it feels like someone's taking the mickey.
Oh, I don't want it to feel like that.
Well, when you said that to that bloke, he probably thought you were taking the piss. If you said, you've got nice eyelashes.
It's hard when people just don't want to get out of the mainframe. Because like when I was in a shop, a newsagent, and I thought, I'm really going to try and engage this guy. Like with some banter about I was purchasing a packet of cigarettes for a friend.
I think you overthink a lot of these little moments. Yeah. Who gets in a cab and thinks, right, I want to get to the heart of this guy. I'm in a newsagent, so I really want to win this conversation. I just need to know what's going on here. I don't want to be sold a paper by this prat. Or are you going through life trying to get more out of situations?
I don't know. It's been really exhausting.
You're on a quest for truth.
I'm on a quest for truth, and it's knackering.
Well, yeah, stop it. Go in the newsagents, buy a paper and leave.
Go home.
Yeah. What happened in this newsagents?
Upset him.
Did you?
Well, because I was like, I suppose... Well, do you know now, if you want a pack of fags, there's a sort of a drawer there's a thing.
Well, you don't buy fags, do you?
Just buy them for someone else.
Oh, yeah.
Some kids outside. No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was
something else.
It was an adult human female that I was taking care of for the weekend. I was being
Christ, this is getting terrible.
Is it?
You, an adult, you were taking care of her for the weekend and you were buying her cigarettes.
Yeah. She's an adult.
Is she all right?
No, she smokes too much for a start. She's being looked after by a bloody idiot. She's entering into sort of situationist art pieces in a newsagent when a simple pack of Rothmans would have done.
Is this an avenue we don't want to go down? Like why you're looking after an adult human female?
Yeah, I was just taking care of her, trying to put something back into society. Let me just put this back into society.
And then take it out and then put it back in.
Oh, don't put it into next to society without washing it first. Oh no.
So you're doing a lot with the community nowadays.
I love the community, and when I was on a walk with that person, I met someone from a group called Headway. Headway help people that have had injuries. This woman said to me, come to my place, Headway, where it's for people with head injuries. Obviously, this woman had a head injury. It affected her speech patterns.
Hang on, so you are looking after a woman who's had a head injury?
This woman, the woman, this is a separate woman.
Oh, right. I thought you was the new Jesus for real there.
Oh, so close to being the new Jesus.
You're sounding like you met a woman with a head injury and she could barely walk or something. She was stuck around your house and she was...
What if it was that?
Get me some fags! And you went out and got
That's a separate woman. I've got one woman, a packet of fags. There's one with a head injury. I go to Headspace. I hang out there with people, chop up some potatoes. I've got pictures of it. I can prove that all these things happen.
Yeah, okay.
Made pals with people. There was a woman there from Barcelona called Christine. She was very nice. It was all in all a very pleasant experience. They went down the park. They never charged me for the ice creams. Never charged. Never charged.
You had a head injury. Is that why you were there?
I just like to express my gratitude to the volunteers. Well, look, all I'm saying is try to disrupt the mainframe. It doesn't have to be constant acts of violent revolution or even a revolution with sort of intent. It could just be, just disrupt stuff a little bit.
Right.
Like Francis Bacon used to do.
Did he?
Apparently Francis Bacon, if like you were serving him in a sort of an offhand way, like, here you go, here's your tea, mate. Bacon would go, well, look at you. Hello there. What's going on? I don't know what Francis Bacon was like, but he'd do his version of that.
Try and sort of create a situation.
Yeah, he doesn't want things just going by. Now, while we're on the subject of creating situations, which we are, here's a situation. And not that everything isn't. Octopus attempts daring bid for freedom as astonished aquarium visitors scream in horror. An octopus left aquarium visitors staring in astonishment after attempting a daring escape from its open-topped glass case. Stupid to keep an octopus in an open-topped glass case for a start. The marine creature took advantage of its open-air home and began its ascent to freedom.
It's open-air home.
This is my open-air home. Using its suckers to stick on the side of the glass. It's a strangely composed story. The octopus slowly made its way to the top of the tank before flicking its tentacles over the side of the glass. There's some odd verbiage in all of this. What's it saying about the octopus? It's really...
Well, it's putting him in a negative light.
The octopus is simply following its innate instinct to be free.
Yeah. And flicking its tentacles like it's a little rat bag.
You little prick. Keep those tentacles to yourself. Children were heard screaming in horror as the huge animal begins pushing its body over the thin glass barrier. But the octopus was quickly pushed back by a member of the public before aquarium staff arrived with a lid. Who's this member of the
lid?
There you go. That's the end of that. Stamp that out. Who's it? Like?
Hang on. Was it? He's not food, is he? You know when you can see your food in the tank.
Yeah,
he's just in there as a sort of.
He's an exhibit.
Oh. That's sad, isn't it?
Who's that little snitch member of the public shoving him back down?
Yeah.
Why would you bother?
And why was the lid not on if they've got a lid?
Well, why experiment with a lidless aquarium in a situation where you've got an octopus?
Tempting him, poor little guy.
Bloody ridiculous.
And what was he going to do? Say he did get out. What was he going to do? Pretend to be a diner? Where did you think that was going to end?
An octopus is hardly an inconspicuous beast, is it?
No.
In almost any situation, you'd single out an octopus other than undersea. Even then, they look bloody odd.
Have you seen the mimic octopus? The one that can... It's fascinating. It can become a snake. It can mimic loads of different animals.
How can it do this?
It changes its colour. It changes its whole shape and everything. It's creepy. Google it.
What about those creatures that have got a single identity?
What about those creatures?
What about those creatures that have got an identity as an individual and as a herd? Like they herd up and act like a sort of a column of... They're sort of... What are they? They think they're slugs. No, there's some sort of slug that's got an...
slugs.
There's these creatures, mate, that will have an individual identity and then they can come together as one, like a superhero. Like they've
You're
bacteria.
thinking of the Transformers.
What? Now there's this guy. He's a car 1 minute. Before you know it, he's Optimus Prime and he's in charge of what's going on here, and that's for sure.
Octopus Prime.
Well done. Well done.
Go.
It's a pun.
And I think we can leave that there.
We can park that, which is what I would do to Optimus Prime, because it's basically just a bloody lorry.
What I didn't like about Transformers was I had one that was a tape deck, right, with a little tape that went in it, but he was the same size as a truck.
lorry.
I can't deal with toys in different scales,
Inappropriate scale. What
this Lego table I've built, right? I don't want
it's come on well, has it?
It's
You've
finished.
got it.
I'll send you a picture of
Great.
it. I'll send everyone a picture of it.
Put it
I'm
on
quite
the
proud
side.
of it. But like Duplo or Duplo, however you say that.
Well, they're duplicate Lego bricks.
They're big. They're like the toddler version of Lego. They fit with Lego, which is amazing to me anyway. But like, they're the wrong scale. And then Cohen, my son, will play with Lego, but then get a matchbox, like a normal toy car, and drive it in the Lego world.
I couldn't.
And I can't deal with it.
You are actually following the plot of the Lego movie to an eerie degree.
To an eerie degree, but like, you know, like when you're little and you make a traffic jam, and I've got to have everything in the right scale.
It's got to be a consistent world. If it's not a consistent world,
you
what's
just
the
think,
rules?
what? There's a teddy bear here, got, like playing, like sort of friends with a little tiny car in a world of Lego. I can't. Like, what's the consistency? I just need.
You do know that the natural end point to this is fascism, don't you, Matt?
Yes.
And that's why we are sponsored by the Nazi Party this week.
No,
terrible bunch.
but you know what I mean.
Terrible bunch.
He sort of, it makes me go, oh no, he wouldn't exist in that world. And if that car's there, then why is there a Lego car?
If you're in a situation where a tape recorder and Optimus Prime are going toe to toe in some sort of ruck, for me, I can't stay with a film built on such an erroneous premise.
No.
You're quite right. There's got to be some distinction. There's got to be some kind of order.
Yeah.
I agree with you. That's why.
But no, actually, didn't you as a child use Chewbacca as Teen Wolf?
I won't be attacked for this anymore, Matt. I've defended this time and time again. I used the toy Chewbacca as Teen Wolf because, for me, the world of Star Wars, I'd explored it and I'd examined it, and I loved Teen Wolf.
But what about the bandolier around him, the strap, the thing? Like, that was so
the
Chewbacca.
bandolier was a pain in the arse.
I bet it was.
And also that Teen Wolf, or Chewbacca, as he was known, couldn't rotate his head. That was annoying.
Oh, I see that. I hate that.
That you couldn't be any of the other people from Teen Wolf.
I didn't like the Star Wars figures not being able to bend their knees.
No, and I didn't like the lightsaber coming out of Luke's wrist in that way.
That was horrible, wasn't it?
Revolting.
You could see the shaft of the lightsaber in his arm.
At all times,
and
like he was
nothing like that in the film.
Intravenously injecting himself with lightsabers.
And then just slide the little thing and it would come out. That was... He should have just had a hand that could hold a lightsaber.
Do you know why? Money. Bloody money, Matt. That's why. They wouldn't give him an independent lightsaber that he could hold because they decided, it costs too much money.
Well, no,
so
because you just lose
weirdly
it, wouldn't
in
you?
his arm. I did lose it because later models did have it like that. When they went back and redesigned Star Wars, had another bite of the cherry. That's how it... Yeah, they did that.
But toys, I mean, it comes... Like playing Lego even, you sort of feel the frustrations you had as a child.
Really?
When you're trying to build a house just out of red bricks and then you run out. And you think, I've got to use the white and the blue now.
Well,
and then it all looks weird on one corner.
So you're building a red, white and blue BMP house that only a certain kind of patrons allowed in. You're using that Lego table as a kind of template for a fascistic new regime.
Lego's fascist, isn't it?
Is it?
I don't know. I've just thrown that out there and now I've got to support it.
Yeah,
it kind of is.
But the Lego movie certainly was about conformity.
Yeah, you have to build within the sort of, rules of Lego, don't you?
Well, again, the Lego movie covered this excellently.
I think we should cover it again.
Without the budget, the script, or its impeccable cast of fine comedians. Yeah. Matthew, with your hatred of any kind of freedom or incongruity, how you must have loathed the viral sensation of the week, a baby weasel riding on a terrified kingfisher's back. Did you see it?
It's a woodpecker, isn't it?
It's definitely a woodpecker, yes, I can see that now. But I mean, because I was distracted by the baby weasel
on his back. Yeah, I suppose that's the thing to focus on. I didn't hate that,
cute,
actually.
but it did
I loved it. But look at the woodpecker's expression. Like,
I can't believe it! I get lost, mate!
He likes it, though. He can't believe it's happening.
I don't think the woodpecker's enjoying that, Matthew. He looks fraught.
Well, who was the aggressor in that situation? Wasn't the woodpecker trying to eat the baby weasel?
Martin LeMay, who took the shot, says that he was with his wife in Hornchurch Country Park when the pair heard a distressed squawking before witnessing the woodpecker's struggle for life as the weasel clung to its back. There's nothing in that sentence that suggests that the woodpecker's having anything other than a bloody awful time of it, is there?
Why is he smiling then?
That's pretty upbeat, actually. I guess the presence momentarily distracted the weasel, but the woodpecker seized the opportunity and flew up and away into some bushes away to her left. Quickly, the bird gathered its self-respect and flew up into the trees. The woodpecker left with its life. The weasel disappeared into the long grass. But it feels like it's a little baby weasel. It's not. It wasn't. Is it trying to kill the thing?
I don't think it is. Look, it's so small. How would it even bring that thing down?
Yeah.
I think they're working together. I think they're friends.
I think perhaps they're solving woodland crimes in there.
I wonder how much money he's made.
There's been another hedgehog's been stabbed. Right. Well,
this is back.
Woodpecker and Weasel. It's a job for you guys, I'm afraid. You can walk this time, you little bastard. No way, I'm on your back.
Do you reckon he's made millions from that?
What, Martin?
That picture's been everywhere. So if you own the rights, though, how do you must make loads of money, mustn't you?
I'm sure that Martin LeMay... He's a real fat cat, this fella, in Hornchurch County Park in Havering.
Gluing animals on each other for 10 years just to get the shot.
Yeah, I don't know. He lives with himself, really. I don't know. Obviously, what this whole thing... can I be clever for a moment?
Well, yes, please. We can edit it in.
We've seen no evidence of it in the previous 10 years.
You've bigged this up quite a lot, so...
This is about man's... I think this is about man's infatuation with nature and about us feeling divorced from nature, so that when we see something like that, we've got this pang to belong once more to the natural world. Because look at us, Matt, bricked into a basement in East London, perched in front of these mechanical microphone arms, uttering out senseless observations when we should be. Do you remember when we was in them woods, you and I,
Yes.
animal creatures? We were on drugs, weren't we?
No, we weren't.
Hold on, we were, weren't
I
we?
wasn't.
I was on some drugs.
Yeah.
So, like, that's helped me to... We just were animals with each other.
Hang
Growling.
on a minute. Let's just back up in case someone hears that and thinks we had sex in a wood.
I never felt so alive, Matthew. It can't be like that with a woman. It can't.
No, we sort of... What were we... I don't know. We were just like
We were in
pretending to be wild.
in a wood, and you
Yeah.
said, let's pretend that we're animals.
I don't think I said it. That make me look weird.
You went there, Matthew. I'm sure it was you. Let's put me animal. And then we started dancing around in a circle, going like that. And then it went a bit mad, and we were making eye contact.
There was... I think there was someone else there, and they...
Who?
I think there was someone else
Who?
there. You know.
That woman.
No. Oh, not her. No, a bloke. And he dropped out of it. There was 3 of us, and there was a guy.
What do you mean you know? Who is
Well, I
he?
don't want to say his name.
Cut him out.
Yeah, he was there, I think.
Was he?
And I think we went, let's all just be wild in the woods, right?
I don't remember anyone else being there.
Yeah, he was there, but he dropped out quite soon. Was like, you guys have taken this too far. And by that point, we couldn't even say, all right, we'll see you later. We were like,
I liked it better.
it was lovely, that place.
We were there in the woods. We were animal men.
See, when the sun's shining, like it was today, you sort of come alive again, don't you?
Yeah, that's
there
why
we
I was
are.
doing these social experiments in newsagents, because I felt alive and I felt connected once more. I felt there's a divine presence within me. There's an animal within me. I'm not just going to accept poor chat in a newsagent. I'm going to get to the heart of what makes this fellow tick.
Yeah, well, that's your own issue. But that was nice in the woods when we did that.
Yeah.
But, you know this thing with a weasel riding a woodpecker?
Yeah, totemism. We worship. It's in our nature to worship animals.
I don't think it's about nature. I think it's like... Because they're
Novelty.
behaving like they're in some sort of movie. You know, like a sort of kids film. Like a Pixar movie. Like, that's the sort of thing that would happen at a Pixar movie. At the end, you know, a little
But
weasel.
until this point, they'd not been getting on. They've been in a dispute about
Well, we
who
don't
owned a
know
tree
that.
hole.
Yeah, oh, right, in the movie. Sorry, I thought you were...
I'm not claiming to know the background to the relationship
No,
between
they're-
the weasel and the woodpecker. I'm trying to.
I
write
think
a
they're
Pixar
mates in the
movie.
movie and they need to get to somewhere else to save something, like an owl or something, you know. And then when you see that, you think,
Oh, they're working
life is a
together.
bit like that. And then you watch something about an elephant baby being eaten by lions.
Awful when you're subjected to that.
You're not meant to get involved, but, you know, when people are filming that stuff, you'd want to... Get off him! You'd want to get involved, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but you must never.
Why, though?
Yeah, why can't you
Because
actually?
in a nature documentary, if we went, and now the elephant is being eaten by lions, now we're going to attempt to save him. Because we're animals too. Why can't
Yeah,
we get
we're
involved?
part of nature.
In history, we like if we were, you know, prehistoric man, we might have run over and gone, leave him alone.
And
They
here
can
on
thumb your own
Serengeti,
size.
The antelope being brought down by the cheetah. Fuck that. I'm on the
Not on my
antelope.
watch.
Look here, you're off.
I run at it waving my jacket.
I'll put my finger in the cheetah's bottom. See how you like it.
Yeah, have that.
Now, antelope, let me ride you to freedom. I'd
Yeah.
love that if on nature documentaries they just
They
let it
really
get to
got
them.
involved.
Like that time. Do you remember, Matthew, when there was that YouTube clip of that buffalo and like there's a baby buffalo and he falls in the water and a crocodile
that
gets
Kruger
him.
Park, Kruger National Park, wasn't it?
Yeah, a crocodile gets him in it, and then some lions come and get him, and still the buffalo runs free. And
It's amazing.
That's like.
But they couldn't have done it. They were on a boat, weren't they? There was like water there.
They should have run. That'd have been good if they'd have run in as well. Oh my God, there's a crocodile. Oh my God, a lion's trying to eat it. Who's this fat American tourist trying to kick the lion in the bollocks? This is the best video ever.
Yeah.
Nature is a terrifying thing, of course. Terrifying, but we are it. When I was on holiday down Mexico way, that's right, I was with my friend Nicola, and we were staying on some... Well, it was actually previously owned by an eccentric billionaire who had tried to turn this resort into an eco park, but he'd brought into it peculiar species that didn't belong there. So even though it was in Mexico, there were zebras wandering about, and there were these alligators and stuff. And me
That's
and my-
really bad, isn't it?
What, to introduce new ecosystems
Yeah.
to it? Yeah, that
Yeah.
can go wrong, can't it? That's why the myxomatosis in Australia or whatever.
No, they introduced myxomatosis to cull the rabbit population, but
It's
it got
like the
out of
old woman who
control.
swallowed a fly.
I know.
There's rabbits in Australia. I didn't know why. Give it myxomatosis. Oh, God, that's a bit awful. I know I've got to watch all these little baby rabbits with pus in their eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know
It's
why
exactly
she's
like
swallowed the
that.
fly. Perhaps she'll die.
Yeah, but if you bring zebras to South America, that's got to be bad,
It
isn't
wasn't that bad. It was fine. They were just romping around. Although, what I didn't like, there was these other little pig thing. There were hogs, and then there was other little things that were like monkeys. Me and my mate were riding around on bicycles in this admittedly lovely resort, but when it started to get a bit dusky, and sometimes you see an animal, we, the humans, are used to the animal being a little submissive. They'll usually back off, won't they?
Yeah.
Well, this one, like these hogs, we were driving around and it was all lovely on our bicycles and it was nice. Then we took a sort of a wrong, it was all palm trees and wonder and sort of tropical beauty. We took one wrong turn. It was this like rubbish dump where I think they sort of...
Pig with a flick knife.
It was like a pig with a flick knife by a bunch of old husks.
Yeah. You're a little lost, ain't you?
And the bike was too
Are you
small.
staying at that hotel? Nice bike.
The bike was too small. My knees were going up too high on it. You know, I looked like it was like a child's bike or a bike. You might as well have had a basket on the front. My legs were going up too high, like great big stupid triangles.
Big Aunt Sally riding around.
Gooning around on the thing.
No respect from the pigs.
I got no respect from those pigs. Yeah, straight off track, everybody.
Yeah, you got a nice basket down your bike.
You're listening to the Russell Brand Podcast with Russell and Matt. Oh, yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Audible, who are giving away a free audiobook to listeners of our podcast. You could, for example, download Revolution, Russell's Trickster Tales, or John Rogers' This Other London, and have Russell read them to you anytime, totally for free. Go to audible.com/brand for your free audiobook and 30-day trial.
Russell Brand Podcast.
So what happened in Mexico?
I got a bit unnerved.
Well, that was it. You got unnerved by some hogs.
Yeah, but then there was these other creatures, and I'm not even quite sure how to define them. They were a bit like monkeys, and like they bogged me out. You know, like
what?
bogged me out.
Oh my god!
Like I was looking at one, and it looked back. You know, like an animal, you expect at some point that it's going to
Bogged you? I've never heard that expression before in my life.
You bogging at me, mate? What you bogging at?
What, it means staring?
Staring.
All right, I thought it could have been something sexual.
He bogged me out.
They bent me over a hedge and bogged me out, one after the other.
That soft scoop ice cream. he took until there was nothing left to give.
Never calls.
Well, look, he stared at me, and I stared right back at him. But then there was like a point where I felt, you know what I mean? I felt unnerved by the creature. And then the moods changed. The light went down. Well, I suppose that's just daybreak. No, dusk, the other one. It started to go into...
light.
It started to go to night
The
time.
light went down behind the hill, that big light.
Now, I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's a sky torch now. He seems to be the boss of when we get up in the morning. Sky torch has cleared off. I'm left there with a pig with a flick knife. All the animals went tough at night time. They all went on. And
That's their domain, mate.
they were the creatures of the night.
You had to get your little bike back to the hotel.
I didn't like it. It was all uphill.
Yeah.
It was all
Was it?
uphill back to the hotel. And then all these sounds started. Woo, ga, 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 woo. Everything went really spooky. Great big bloody moths. Great moths. Size of flannels. Great big things.
What about when we were in India for your, can we call it, wedding?
What should we call that?
Your holiday?
Holiday. Expensive holiday.
When we were in India for your wedding, it was in a tiger sanctuary. Wasn't it? That
Yeah,
was
and they did say
terrifying.
there
They
was
were
a
just
leaflet.
loose tigers.
And there's a leaflet in the room saying we can't guarantee you won't get hit by a tiger, didn't there?
Yeah.
It's a leaflet saying it ain't happened yet, but it could happen. So if it does, don't come crying to us. Basically, a leaflet saying, I mean, you are gonna be pissed off. You can't preempt that with a leaflet, can you?
Well, there was the two hotels,
So
and you were meant
Did you
to
not see the leaflet? My daughter's been eaten by a tiger. Sir, I
refer you to the leaflet.
It made it perfectly clear.
There was a little chocolate on your pillow and a little leaflet about being eaten by a tiger.
Did you enjoy the chocolate? I was too upset. Well, try the chocolate. It's the perfect thing to distract you from the grief of a carnivorous attack on your progeny.
No, it was amazing though, because there was two hotels, and you were meant to go to the front of the hotel and get the driver bloke to take you to the next hotel, and everyone just realised you could walk through the woods.
Yeah.
But he said to us, don't walk through the
Yeah,
woods
but I
at
liked
night
how
because
you
there's
said-
tigers.
The man who ran the hotel, you said he was like some... Hello, tigers!
Tigers, eh? He was twiddling his moustache and he would listen and he'd hear a
He was twiddling
noise
his
in the
moustache.
woods.
Who
No,
is this guy? I never saw him.
he was like from the Raj days. He had like a twiddled up moustache. He was
He had
an
a
Indian
twiddle up
bloke, but he
moustache.
had...
Who has that in this day and age?
Well, he did. And he had...
And did he twiddle it while he talked to you?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
On
he's
the
not
first
quite
night, he
twiddled.
was like... And I never saw him again. It was like this weird dream we had.
Was it a
He was
dream?
there... No, it wasn't.
See?
He was sat there and he'd hear... Like, you'd hear... From the... that was a monkey. But, like, you'd hear a noise of a bird in the woods, right?
Yeah.
And he'd go... And he'd talk... He had someone there with a gun, like a rifleman sort of bloke.
Yeah.
And he'd go... That was the second call. And he was like... When you hear that... Because he can hear...
doing?
No, he could read the sounds of the jungle.
can
and
read
he knew
the
where the
jungle.
tigers were, right?
Okay.
And so he said, if the tigers come any closer, we'll have to get you back to your hotel tents. Like that. And so we were like, me and Katie, my wife, were like, oh my God, this is amazing. The next night, everyone was just walking through the jungle. No one cared and never saw him again. He filled our mind with horror.
People were peeled up off their nuts on that wedding.
Yeah.
It was chaos wandering about Rumble in the jungle.
Anyone could have been in. And there was one night, on the last night, I heard this noise. Because if you looked out of your tent, you could see wild animals, couldn't you? Every now and again, you'd see something mad come out of the jungle. And I heard this night... That was the exact noise.
That noise.
That noise, and it kept happening. And it woke me up, and it was he had food poisoning in the next tent. I shouldn't say his name. A man in the next tent had food poisoning, and
He was going...
yeah, but it was the
vomiting is so undignified. Sometimes you
that
catch
was his
yourself.
bottom.
You silly ass.
Vomiting is horrible, isn't it?
I don't like during it. I think I just don't want to be alive if this is.
I
it.
lay in bed and I think I'm going to be sick. You know when you just know I'm going to be
Here
sick,
it comes.
right?
The
And then
saliva's
you think,
coming.
no, I'm going to fight it. I'm going to hang on to this until it becomes diarrhea in 2 days' time. And if you lay there for long enough, and then you stand up and you think like it's happening, and then I'll try and put it off for as long as possible. And
The
then when it
vomiting.
happens, yeah, and then but the worst thing is when it's not over until you really like there's nothing left.
Baby, it ain't over till it's over.
Yeah. When was the last time you were vomiting?
Anytime I feel it come on at all, to tell you the truth, Matt, I get straight in there, nip it in the bud.
What do you mean?
Get down there, jam down. I'd take control of the situation. I won't
you?
be terrorised.
You won't give in to terrorism.
I won't.
Well, so you go and make yourself sick. What
I'll
if
say,
what if it's not? Sometimes you feel really sick. Think, oh, I'm going to be sick.
That's
and then
come.
it doesn't-
That's it.
Why'd you do that?
Just I don't like it.
You don't like-
no pussyfooting.
Oh, that's good.
We're going to be sick,
I'll
are we?
try
Yeah, that's it.
well.
But
What else have you got? It's coming out my bottom now, is it? No, good.
So I buy a bit of pill as well. I'm crying as well. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, boom. But you didn't best me.
It's horrible, isn't it? Though, yeah. What's that disease that everyone gets in winter? Where you're meant to wash your hands on. Yeah, no, it's on door handles and stuff. If you think about it too much, you'll go mental. What's it called?
I don't know what you're on about. No one does. Oh, in the room. If you look at everyone's face, Matt, you're a hypochondriac. This time you've
Yes.
invented a whole disease for everyone.
When I think of the name of it, you'll all go, oh, yeah. It's a thing that everyone gets in winter, like the winter vomiting bug, but there's a thing, and it can make...
a bug.
It's a craze.
It's a silly thing that you've tried to bring to prominence in our minds there, Matt, and I just won't have it. I simply won't have it. Now, we can do a number of things. You can quiz me as much as you like on anything you like on that list, or I can
let's
tell
go
you
to the
about...
list.
Go on, let's have a look at the list.
No, let's not do
There's
that.
nothing
We'll
on
do
the
that in a
list that
minute.
I'm scared about.
No, I've been talking to people around your camp,
Yep.
and there's a few things I need to talk to you about here.
Yep.
Do you want to just start from the top?
Yep.
Right, for the benefit of the tape.
Go on.
When the Italian waiter wouldn't serve him an espresso before his meal. What's that all about?
I wanted an espresso to pep myself up. I was in Rome. God, what a glorious city Rome is.
Get around, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I was in Rome. And doing as the Romans do, quite naturally. Actually, they enforce that, because what the Romans do is they don't have no espresso till after the meal. But I was knackered. I goes, "Give us an espresso, mate." And the waiter just goes, "Of course, sir." And then like another course came. I goes, "Yeah, can I have that espresso?" "Yes, certainly." And then another course came. I goes, "Mate, can I get that espresso?" He just went, that time. And I goes, "Are you going to give me this espresso?" And he went, "No." I goes,
Really?
why is that? He said, we're not till the end of the meal, sir. It is not our custom. I goes, yeah, but I'm really tired. I'm just a bit knackered. And he no, sorry. And I, please, come on, mate, come on.
Was this
let
a
me
sort
have
of
it.
corporate restaurant that has
No,
a plan?
it's like a one-off. It's this guy's restaurant.
That's weird.
I respected him because he didn't care. I got the feeling if I goes, look, I'm not going to pay the bill, I'll just leave. That's up to you, sir.
But
It's
they
just
will
for-
never serve an espresso too early.
Yeah, he cared about it very deeply and very dearly. It was just that.
But he
was
should
his
have
system.
explained that the first time. Go, oh, well, I'll only give it to you at the end. But to keep going, yeah, of course, it's
He
coming.
couldn't be bothered.
It's coming at the end, you bozo. Why didn't he just say it?
I think he was stringing me along, you know. I think,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What
Well, he was.
He strung me along, just kept me there, just played me like a violin. There was nothing I could do. So there you go. I didn't do anything wrong. I handled it well. G, that's come from G, hasn't it? I didn't handle it badly. Did I get petulant at any point? Did I threaten to leave? Did I smash anything?
You couldn't believe that he wouldn't serve it.
I can't believe it. I'm on your side.
Thank you. You've brought me and Matt closer together there. That hardly ever happens. Certainly not live on radio.
So let's pull ourselves apart now for the worst fart ever in your dressing room just before Bono was coming backstage.
I was in Ireland. I'd given a magnificent performance. It was really good. I was on stage at the Olympia Theatre.
You have an espresso in
Dublin.
Rome, you meet Bono in Ireland.
What a life I
I
lead!
know.
Wow, man! I remember
know.
when I was just a little girl growing up in Maidstone. I never thought that this was possible.
No.
Well, then I clambered off the stage up the.
What was
up
it?
the
Sorry,
Royal
I didn't
Boxes.
listen to the first bit of this.
It's in the Olympia in Dublin. You know, it was me doing Messiah Complex probably, and then a
right.
stand-up comedy show.
Right.
And I clambered up the Royal Boxes and that, and it was all precarious, up a trellis.
Well, you climbed up on the outside of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, man. I'm hardcore. I'm deadly. I'm dangerous. That's why I get to have an espresso in Rome, you know, because of these edgy moves. And then I looked across the box and I see that in the opposite box it was like Bono and a couple of other lads out of U2, and I thought, oh, this is cool. I'm in Dublin. There's Bono, and then I went, you know.
Well, you
done a
didn't know
show.
they were at the show.
Didn't know. And then I did a good show. It was funny in that, and I always have a good time in Ireland anyway. You remember, of course.
Oh, yes, of course. I remember a few good times.
Terrible things.
We were in Bono's hotel room at one point, weren't we?
just playing a piano during an orgy.
that was funny, actually.
Look, could I
It
have
wasn't an
practiced
orgy. I wasn't involved in an orgy. It
Okay.
was group sex.
Crikey.
No, we had this hotel room,
Mm.
and you, like, this is the mad thing. I reckon Jim Morrison had an orgy. He was like, yeah, man. But you were like, right, you stand over there. You. Poor lad had some sort of piano qualification. And there was a grand piano in the hotel.
Pianist. You're not going to waste that at an orgy. Get the boy tickling the ivories.
And he demanded that he sat there and played the piano. It was quite a nice ambience by crying.
The tears splashing
With his
on
eyes
the keys.
pinched shut while he played the piano. I'm not looking at the ladies. And also, me, you and G all had a hot tub, didn't we? Do you remember that? We went in a hot tub, us three.
Was we naked?
That was before the orgy. That would have been weird if there was an orgy and we went, guys, hot tub, just us three.
Be pals together.
Willy fights.
Oh, touch tips and we blues. Get away, girl. Frighten those. Yeah, well, this is another Bono-related story. Again, involving G. Doesn't involve a hot tub or any kind of group sex activity.
Well, there wasn't. I mean, we're being silly there with the whole
Absolutely,
orgy thing.
we're exaggerating, and all the people's names were mentioned in that story have since been killed. And so after the gig ended, it went well. I was backstage in the dressing room, and I had a sense that Bono. Well, I was hoping that Bono might turn up at some point, but there was a moment of flatulence, which, as you know, is very rare in my life. And it was quite. It was a small dressing room, and it was a potent fart, and just almost as the moment that I have allowed it to evacuate, G come around the corner and goes, Bono's coming. And so, like, then Bono, you can't, like, he come looming around the door, right into he's sort of like just walked into a fugue, or what you call a poo ghost, Matt.
Yes, I do call it a poo ghost.
I mean, it's the phantom.
And this sounds
of
like it was a
feces.
particularly haunting one.
It really was as an apocalyptic vision.
Well, so you didn't know he's coming. I'll do it quickly before he gets here. He was just suddenly upon you.
Actually, I seem to remember there was a ticking clock component of
Right.
like Bono could come at any moment. Let's get this.
Who
thing
was he
out
with?
of the way.
The Edge?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't with any of the other ones.
Right.
It was just him and I believe an attractive wife type lady. I wouldn't know how to begin to categorise her. And then, he just came there, and I had to sort of. It's not easy to conduct a conversation when there's such a potent subtext
Yeah, was it that
attacking
bad?
the olfactory system.
So did he...
I didn't bring it up because it was Bono.
Yeah, but I would have sort of thought
I
he
thought I
might
had done
go.
a bit of a fart there, pal. But let's talk about the show. I mean,
Well, you could have blamed someone else in your vicinity.
The reason I don't mention it is because I assume that Bono will do that anyway.
What do you mean? Well, just think
Well,
it
well,
can't
that
be
wouldn't
this
be this
guy.
young
Just
man.
done an amazing show.
Look at him up there clambering around the awnings.
I think we should try and contact Bono and ask him.
If you remembered it.
Yeah, I bet he
Bono
will.
said stand-up comedians are top of the food chain. Go up there. He said no guitars or anything. He said well
Did he?
done. Yeah.
Did he say that with a hanky pressed to his face?
With the nose gay. I don't know what's in that food, but it's right near the top of it.
You'd think that he would just go, "It stinks in here."
Yeah, well, no, he didn't. He didn't bring it up. Now, so there we go, Matthew. That seems to be.
How everyone's nodding,
Is-
like shaking their heads at my Irish accent.
No. Oh, are they the Irish? You've offended the
I've
Irish.
offended the Irish.
It's good actually, because if we're going to offend anyone, let's offend people that are actually here, because that's
And then they can shake their heads and I can go, "Sorry for that
Sorry
bad
for
Irish
that, people
accent."
of Ireland, both north and south. It's a real sincere apology. Okay, so that's the end of this podcast. Thank you for those of you that sent us. We didn't get to the jingles. We'll do that in the next episode. Do join us for another podcast this Sunday. Probably
Sunday, yeah.
about Sunday. But before we bail out of this madness altogether, why don't we get Mr. G to summarise this whole thing in the form of poetry?
This poem's called When Nature Calls. There's a collective unconscious of the myths set upon us, from the tales of the flood to the desires of our sponsors. Picture a faraway land, devoid from man's hand, where woodpeckers and weasels collaborate to ease the pang. Can we reflect on the flutter of an eyelash, where wilderness is bliss? Beyond the tinkling of a lonely piano, somebody should kiss this. Perhaps nature is the master, and evolution provides the choice. So in this world of many accents, deep down we all fart with one voice.
Well done. One day he'll tell us the mysteries of how he writes those things, will he? You can win that poem if you want to. Did we decide on what the nature of the competition was going to be?
Nope.
And by the next episode, we'll work out what you've got to do. Oh, we did get people to record themselves saying, "My Willie done a burp," which seems like a real juvenile step backwards for such pioneering
It's
young
really
media
bad,
minds
isn't
as us. But someone did it. I've got an image of a woman saying those very words.
Welcome to Russell Brand podcast with Russell and Matt. My Willie did a burp. Yeah.
But she corrected the grammar to "My Willie did a burp," which, that's not quite what we asked for.
No.
So we can't really
Very
use it.
angry about that.
Brought to you by Audio Boom.